We continue to track a unprecedented and historic winter storm across the Gulf Coast and into the southeast as it continues to drop heavy snow, sleet, and freezing rain and creates tons of travel problems across those areas. We're also tracking heavy Great Lakes snowfall with lake effect snow, Southern California wildfires. We'll update you on that, and we'll take a look at your early February outlook and any more winter storms that could come along with that in early February. So we got a lot to talk about here. Welcome back to Weather on the Go, all your weather coverage. My name is Hunter. If you are new to this channel, make sure to subscribe to the channel as we give you all of the latest weather information. Follow along with all my daily updates simply by subscribing to the channel. Like the video, give it a thumbs up, and leave any comments, questions, concerns below. Share this video on social media. I definitely appreciate it. Let's look at the past 24 hour snowfall reports as they continue to come in here, and they will come in further east as well. But so far from the Houston area over here toward Lake Charles, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and New Orleans, we're talking widespread 4 to 6 inches worth of snow. And even some areas here in south central Louisiana getting 6 to 8, if not 8 to 12 inches of snow here, especially in and around the Lafayette area. And looking here at the latest weather alerts across the Gulf Coast and into the southeast, we have winter storm warnings that continue to stretch from the New Orleans region and the southern parishes of Louisiana through southern Mississippi, southern Alabama, northern Florida, including the Florida Panhandle, south central Georgia, and the eastern Carolinas with winter weather advisories in the purple. And that extend all the way up into places like Atlanta, into places there like Columbia, South Carolina, and also into the Raleigh area in North Carolina and Charlotte too. So looking here at this evening, we have heavy snow breaking out across portions of the Gulf Coast, up through south central Georgia and into the Carolinas. Central and eastern Carolinas there, that's where the heaviest snow will be. We have the orange here where we have sleet and freezing rain across areas of Savannah, Georgia, Jacksonville, extending back here toward the west to the Big Bend of Florida. Now, as we go into the overnight hours, we're going to see the heavy snow rates 1 to 2 inches per hour start to push more into southeast Georgia and the central and eastern Carolinas. The closer to the coast you get, the heavier the snowfall will be, closer to that track of the low pressure. And then as we go into Wednesday morning, we're going to see that start to slowly move off the coast. We'll still see some lighter snow from the Wilmington area, Myrtle Beach, down to Charleston and Savannah. Maybe some rain-snow mix, freezing rain mixing in there into northern Florida for Tallahassee, Gainesville, and Jacksonville early Wednesday morning. And then all of this precipitation through the day, especially by the time we get to tomorrow afternoon, will be moving off the coast. And we'll say goodbye to our unprecedented winter storm. Now here's the additional snowfall accumulations in inches that we continue to monitor through the next 24 hours or so. A nice swath of 6 to 12 inches up here across North Florida, South Central Georgia into South Carolina, especially closer to the coast. So Charleston up to Myrtle Beach, that's where the heaviest amounts will be, averaging around 8 inches there. And then up into North Carolina, Wilmington, up here into Jacksonville and Cape Hatteras. That's where we could be seeing anywhere from around 5 to 8 inches worth of snow through the rest of this storm system. Now, we are going to see a little bit of some icing, potentially up to a tenth or two of an inch of ice into northern Florida. This could include Gainesville over here toward Jacksonville Beach. So something to keep an eye on here as we go through the next 24 hours. This will continue to cause travel impacts near the Gulf Coast and into the southeast and up towards the mid-Atlantic there. We could be seeing those moderate to major travel disruptions in the orange and red shaded colors here from New Orleans toward Mobile, Panama City, up here into Savannah, Georgia, Charleston, Columbia, Myrtle Beach, and Wilmington as we go into tonight. And now as we go into Wednesday, from west to east, our snow-covered, ice-covered roads will become a little bit more treated, hopefully, and we'll see that sunlight go to work, at least the sun angle. Even though it's cloudy outside, the sun's still out, and that'll go to work on warming up the pavement temperatures, and we'll still start to see more of the melting going on, at least on the roadway surfaces as we go through Wednesday. Another area we're keeping an eye on, heavy lake effect snow in the Great Lakes here, Lake Michigan, downwind of Lake Michigan and western lower Michigan, seeing snow. Lake Erie, also Lake Huron and Ontario seeing some very heavy snow bands as well. That goes through Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And notice as we go through that Friday time frame, we're going to be seeing some additional couple of feet of snow. And this is going to be on top of already we're seeing 48-inch reports coming in around western New York State here off of Lake Ontario. And we could be seeing an additional 2 to 3 feet on top of the 4 feet. So when it's all said and done, we could see a total of 6 to 8 feet of of snow in the Watertown, New York area or thereabout as we go through the Saturday, January 25th timeframe. We continue to track the huge Arctic blast. Now, it is starting to depart further to the east. Wednesday morning, here are your low temperatures. Not as cold into parts of the Midwest, but we're seeing some cold air again from the Ohio Valley up into the Northeast and even into Quebec here, where especially Quebec, the core of that cold air, temperatures, these are air temperatures, 20 to 30 degrees below zero. Wind chills up here could be closing in on 50 degrees below zero in Quebec, with 20s and maybe some 30 below across the Great Lakes, the Ohio Valley, and up into the Northeast. The Midwest tomorrow morning with wind chills and respective temperatures will be a lot warmer. Again, relatively speaking. Now, tomorrow afternoon, we'll see a nice jump with our temperatures here into parts of the western part of the Midwest, the Iowa region, into Nebraska, Missouri, western Illinois, and over here into Kansas. Those areas will be into the 30s and potentially the 40s, and our wind chills will still be in the 20s here, but a nice jump in our temperatures and our feels like as we go into tomorrow afternoon. In fact, going in through the rest of the week, Thursday into Friday, we're going to start to see a little bit of a moderating trend with our temperatures into the middle of the country, colder air further to the east. Here we go Thursday afternoon. Notice it's still cold, right? We're seeing temperatures for highs in the single digits and teens. That'll continue into Friday, maybe more 20s, more widespread there. But then as we go into the weekend, we continue to moderate our temperatures Saturday into Sunday. And notice a nice jump here, our freezing line going all the way up into the Midwest Saturday and kind of settling around the Midwest Ohio Valley there on Sunday. It'll still be cold, but not nearly as cold as what we've been seeing. Now, with all this mild air coming in, here's the snow depth in inches for the weekend. You can still see the resemblance of our unprecedented historic winter storm down near the Gulf Coast and Southeast. That's going to be melting our snowpack. So by early next week, Monday, Tuesday timeframe, we're going to say goodbye to the snowpack down here, especially for areas from Texas all the way to Alabama and Florida. Maybe a little bit of some snowpack left over in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia, but that will even be melting into the middle of next week. Now let's visit Southern California. Unfortunately, we're seeing PDS red flag warnings, particularly dangerous situation red flag warnings, as critical to extremely critical fire weather concerns persist here. We're going to be seeing relative humidity values between 0 and literally 10% through tonight. That'll continue with a lot of those relative humidity percentages down to around 5-10% on Wednesday and Thursday and even into Friday as well. So looking here at tonight, we could be seeing critical to extremely critical fire weather concerns around areas of Los Angeles here, Oxnard to Santa Clarita, even over here towards San Bernardino. And then that'll continue as we go into tomorrow on Wednesday. Not as critical, but still those elevated to critical fire weather concerns from Oxnard eastward to Santa Clarita, Palmdale, into Burbank there, Ontario, and San Bernardino. That'll extend down into Anaheim, Santa Ana, Riverside here, and the Hemet area as well. And then as we go into Thursday, still seeing the elevated to critical fire weather concerns. And then Friday, right now, nothing is highlighted, but with those low relative humidity percentages around 5, 10, or 15%, likely seeing elevated, possibly even critical fire weather concerns once we get closer to Friday, and confidence increases there as well. Mother Nature not going to be helping us out here in California, especially Southern California, not seeing a drop of rain over the next few days. This goes through Friday, January 24th, and again, we're not seeing any help out there, so no hope for that. But looking at next week, let's look at the temperature outlook from the Climate Prediction Center going through the rest of this month. We're going to be moderating our temperatures up here into the northern U.S., the northern plains, the upper Midwest, and southern Florida. A little bit colder into the northeast New England and out west as well for Southern California and Arizona especially, but we're also going to remain dry. Unfortunately, that'll continue across Southern California. The driest weather, though, in California will be Northern California compared to normal. That'll stretch across the Rockies, especially the northern and central Rockies, and into the northern and central plains, and then over here into the Midwest Ohio Valley. A little bit of some Great Lakes snow into the upper Great Lakes, so northern Minnesota, the UP of Michigan, northern lower Michigan could see some active weather, and then the subtropical jet from the eastern Pacific could offer up another winter storm potential, not like what we saw today. That is certainly off the table, but we're definitely seeing the potential for at least some heavier rains down across the south as we go in towards next week. And here it is, between the 27th and the 31st, heavier rains in the very same areas where we're seeing snow, maybe just a little bit further north of there too. into places like Oklahoma, Arkansas, Tennessee, we could be seeing on the order of 1 to 3 inches of rain. And then the snowfall back here into the mountains of Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, maybe some snow into the Oklahoma, Texas panhandle, and parts of Kansas as well. And some of this could be significant as we go into next week. And then looking here at early February, the first week of February, from the February 1st through the 8th, we're going to see the cold back off a little bit. It's going to go further to the north, but it's still going to be nearby. It's going to be in western parts of Canada. We got a southern and southeastern ridge that will develop, and you can see it's going to be pretty cold up here in Alaska and western Canada. So we're talking Yukon, British Columbia, the Northwest Territories, Alberta, and Saskatchewan, and some of that bleeding into the Pacific Northwest and the Northern Plains, and then milder conditions further to the south and the southeast. And that will set up an active track for our storm systems here, what we call a baroclinic zone, where we have the battleground of temperatures. We have the colder temperatures to the north and northwest. We have the milder, warmer temperatures to the south and southeast, and our low pressure storm track will be right along that and moving up here from the southern plains toward the Great Lakes and into the Midwest Ohio Valley. So if you look here at the precipitation anomaly for the first week of February, very active weather expected here in the Pacific Northwest. This is going to bring heavy snows for the Cascades and the Northern Rockies here, and you can see it's kind of highlighted here in black where we expect the more active storm track to be, and you can see that kind of reflected here with the snowfall as well as we go through the first week there of February. We'll continue to keep you updated. Changes are likely as it's still a couple of weeks out, but just general trends that we're keeping an eye on into early February. Make sure to subscribe to the channel as we continue to give you the latest information on our unprecedented historic winter storm, updates on snowfall reports and stuff like that, Great Lakes lake effect snow, Southern California wildfires, and our early February outlook as well. Subscribe to the channel, follow along with all my daily updates. I'll likely have another video update for you late tomorrow morning, early tomorrow afternoon, and then again in the evening hours. Like the video by giving it a thumbs up. Also, share this video with friends, family, and on social media. And if you want, leave any comments, questions, concerns below. I'll get to as many as I can after the video, and I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of their day out there.